Welcome. And last Friday, we weren't a go, but today we're back at it. You already know. Coach Sean, how are you today?
Blessed, highly favored. Hey man, can't complain. Even if I did, my grandmama used to tell me nobody would give a damn. Right? Can't
I would
complain,
care,
Ty, man.
Coach.
I appreciate you, brother. Cause
I would
likewise,
care.
right back at you, Ty. Right back at you. Roll Tide to you, brother. It's Tennessee week. Um, let's talk about some things. Let's talk about it. Shout out to everybody out there.
Yeah, this is going to be a fascinating weekend of college football. You have Texas, Georgia. Of course, we're going to talk about that. You've got Tennessee, Alabama. You've got Oklahoma, South Carolina. And that's where I really want to start. And I want to hear from all of you, right? Because I'm going to pose a question and I need y'all down in chat, down into the comments to let me know. Do you think this is a must win game for Oklahoma? Let me know what you're thinking because, Coach, when I look at this, Oklahoma takes on South Carolina this weekend. After that, it's Ole Miss. Then they have Maine, which that should be a gimme game. Then you have Missouri, then Bama, then LSU. They have a gauntlet ahead of them. And from where I'm sitting, the reason why I think this South Carolina game might be a must-win game for Oklahoma is you've got to recapture some form of momentum going into this stretch, right? South Carolina, the offense is there. It's not awful. It's not great. They've got Sellers. They've got some good running backs. But that defense and that defensive front, it's hellacious. You look at number 5, number 6 rushing off the edge. They are coming to hunt. And Oklahoma has had problems with the offensive line in terms of it being a musical chairs position. Now they've settled in on a quarterback who's brand new to college football, true freshman, very talented, but you don't have a lot of wide receiver talent that's healthy, not that you expected to have. Your offensive line is still in the figuring out phase. You have a quarterback who's a true freshman. Am I wrong in thinking that this is a must-win game for Oklahoma moving forward to recapture some positive momentum before Ole Miss, Missouri, Bama, LSU? What do you think, Coach?
I agree with you 1,000%. It is definitely a must-win game, man. Because listen, at the end of the day, guys, you got to be able to score touchdowns in this game to win most of the time, right? You got to find ways to put the ball in the end zone. And right now, man, Oklahoma's just not doing that, man. Their defense is out there fighting tooth and nail. And it's like, man, I can't even get on Venables. I can't get on Venables because any team, including Alabama, especially Alabama, you have the injuries that Oklahoma has had, man, your season is damn near gonna fall off the tracks, man. It just sucks because the powers that be, nobody cares, right? Lose as many receivers as these guys have lost, right? The continuity's off, the offensive line chemistry's off, the play calling. They're still trying to find their identity. You could tell, true freshmen. You know what? At this point, man, I would damn near entertain going back to the past quarterback. I just don't know. I understand Hawkins' feet keep you in the game, but after a few film studies of his feet, that's not going to work all the time going forward with the schedule that Ty just laid out. That is the clear definition of one dimensional, right? So, man, what do you do, man? I don't even have the answers, but it is definitely something that these guys get paid millions of dollars to figure out, and their work is cut out for them. Ty, no, you're right on. You hit the nail right on the head with that.
I said earlier, South Carolina's offense ranks 91st in the nation, so it's not great. It's not great at all. But like I said, they do have a running back who I think is very talented. They have a quarterback who is all over the place in his gameplay.
Yeah.
But Oklahoma is 126th in the nation in offense right now. And a lot of that, Coach, like you said, they have 5 wide receivers down. They've had offensive linemen go down. They've had defensive backs go down. You had a quarterback change mid-season. I can't even say mid-season, early season. I mean, it's all over the place right now.
Yeah.
And while I'm always caught in between a rock and a hard place, because personally, I want to say, like, hey, Seth Luttrell, you got to do something. Coach, this is where I need you. How much blame can we even put on Seth Luttrell given all the injuries Oklahoma has? Because at a certain point, I'm caught between this thought process of, okay, well, you got to scheme something up. Like, you got to get real creative, get Hawkins going in the passing game with maybe some swing, just easy things that are maybe more creative based than technical based, just to get him going, because it's not like he can't do it. He's very talented. How much of this can we put on Latrell, and how much of this is just, this is football? And when you get to this level of new offensive coordinator, an offensive line that was already going to be brand new, that's now banged up, new quarterback, 5 wide receivers down, how do I view this, and where can I assess blame? Or can I assess blame, or do we just say this is bad luck?
In high school football, man, we had a rule. You can never judge a coach when most of your players are not available. College football, paying these guys millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars, obviously we all know is different. But if you want to be specific, I get it. If I'm an Oklahoma fan, I'm pissed right now, right? But man, do you know how many receivers that is to have that? I can't even imagine that at Bama. I can't even imagine having 5 receivers down, right? We may look like crap as well. So I think you got to get a dude another season, you know what I mean? Because of just all the injuries you got to have. I think the one thing that the Oklahoma fans are entitled to be pissed off about is the drive killing plays that they have. When I watch Oklahoma play, these guys stay in 2nd and 13, 1st and 15, they stay in those long, crazy, they're way behind the chains most of the time. Then they'll have a good drive, then they'll do something stupid and get back into 1st and 15. Those drive killing plays are what they have more of those this year than I've seen Oklahoma's offense have in years, man. Even when they were young years ago with different quarterbacks. Um, so I think the drive killing plays come from a lack of experience at certain spots. It come from just a lot of kids who hadn't played a lot of football at that wideout position. Now, the offensive line, that's a different beast. We all know if the offensive line is not playing well, I call the offensive lines the engine to the car. The quarterback is the keys. It doesn't matter how many pairs of keys you have that work. If the engine is not running well, nothing is going to look right. Nothing is going to look right, man. So they have a multitude of issues on their offense, man. And I just don't know how much you can put on the coaches with that team, because the personnel that you see on the field may not have been the personnel that would be on the field if these guys were healthy. So how do you judge that? Is it the coach's fault? Is it just lack of experience? You're throwing kids in there that are learning on the fly at the wideout position, and with the offense that they run, you better have some wideouts running that offense, running that wide open offense like that. The wideouts are very, very important, right? Offensive line, very, very important. And these guys have had key injuries all over the place, man. So it's just one of those things, man. It's 50-50. It's personnel, it's youth, it's the lack of experience, and it's coaching. Drive killers, you attribute that to players. Crazy play calling, you're trying to compensate for other things, you attribute that to the coaches. So it's enough, just like Alabama, it's enough blame to go around.
No, I 100% agree. And especially when you look at this stretch of the schedule, Ole Miss has taken some L's here that they wish they could have back, but that's an offense that they can score. And the way that you're going to attack them is, I think the weakest part of Ole Miss might be the offensive line. Now, luckily, Oklahoma's got a solid defensive front, but Lane was going to scheme something up. But Ole Miss's defense is pretty darn good. Then you look at Missouri. Missouri is able to score points, right? Or at least in the past they have. Then you look at Bama. Bama's defense right now, we have questions about it, but Bama's dropping 30 a game on anybody right now. So it's like, if you can't score 30 points, that's going to be tough to win that game. LSU's kind of the same, where these teams, even with OU having an improved defense, a good defense, you have to be able to score. And it's the reverse conversation we've had about so many teams for so long. Teams that are just like 100% offense and 0 defense. That's not a winning recipe. Well, nor is the flip side. Look at Iowa. Iowa always has a phenomenal defense. I mean, incredible. But the offense is just never there. And I understand different situations, but that's why, Coach, I really do believe South Carolina, it's a must-win game for Oklahoma. because outside of Maine, I think South Carolina might be the easiest test they have left, because Missouri, I think I like their ability to score better than I like South Carolina's. Ole
Yeah.
Miss is the same thing, right? Bama, 100%. Bama's got defensive questions. Bama can score. Bama can score when they're clicking, in LSU. LSU, we know they're really ramping up as the season goes on. So I need to hear from everybody. Is this a must-win game for Oklahoma in this South Carolina game? Can they recapture some momentum? What does this season look like? Coach Sean, final thoughts.
Man, listen, who would have ever thought coming into this season that by what we going into the sixth or seventh game?
Yeah.
Who would have ever thought that in every major offensive category, total offense, scoring offense, yards per play, rushing offense, rushing yard per attempt, that Oklahoma would damn near be in the hundreds in every one of them. Total offense, 125th. Scoring offense, 96th. What was yards per play? I think it was 127th. Rushing yards, 195th. Passing offense, 118th. Oklahoma in the hundreds in all those offensive categories, man. You know something's off. That's not regular. That's not the norm for Oklahoma. Say what you want about their defense. Oklahoma's was the shit. They was gonna drop 50 on everybody.
Yeah.
Give a damn how good you were. They're gonna drop 50, guaranteed. So for Oklahoma, shout out to Travis Panier, home team right there, man. Much love to my broski. Um, for those guys to be in those rankings in every major offensive statistic is utterly eye-popping. And that should tell the fans. I know it's frustrating. I can imagine, because I'm like that with our defense here at Bama. But you almost got to just chalk it up, man. We got injuries, right? The personnel you're seeing on the field now, like I said, it probably wouldn't even be the personnel that would be playing if these kids were healthy. The schedule is not going to grant you any mulligans going forward. But hell, man, you just got to chalk it up and play, brother. You got to strap it in. You got to find what your team can do, and you got to play. Those games are not going to go away, unfortunately. And final thoughts of Oklahoma is, man, you just got to find some type of capable offense. Even if you got to change quarterbacks, man, you got to find some type of offense to give you the best opportunity to be competitive in all these games going forward.
100%. Love it. And I can't wait to see what this game looks like and talk about it come Monday. That's going to be exciting. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody in here, we were the reason why you didn't hear much interaction. That was us cutting a video, right? That's going to be a video. So let's hit some comments. Benji, I knew 100% what you were saying whenever I saw this. It's a big game for both programs. South Carolina's been in games that they should have won, right? Or they feel like they should have won, or have come down to the wire, right? Emotional losses. And now they see a team kind of bleeding, but a big brand, a huge brand. And they know, hey, we can capitalize on this. For OU, South Carolina, I mean, yeah, you might look at their record and be like, okay, we should easily get this win. But if you've watched South Carolina, they haven't made it easy for anybody. Well,
yeah,
I think they got beat up real bad once this year. But outside of that, like that defensive front is really good. Really, really good. I would say, Coach, it's in the top of the SEC. I'm not saying their defense. I'm saying specifically that defensive front is great. Two edge rushers that want to hunt you, some guys on the interior that are all too happy to soak up blocks, make it difficult to find yards on the interior. It's a very good defensive front. I did not see this. Goated, is that really something that happened? Bob Stoops added to staff as defensive analyst. That'd be cool, but like, that's not the issue. Right? Like, I think that Oklahoma's defense right now is I don't think it's like one of the top two in the SEC. Right? I don't. But I also think that they are hurting from an offense that is putting the defense on the field far too much. Oklahoma and Alabama have the reverse problem. where
Yeah.
Alabama scores so darn quickly that the defense is on the field for a long period of time. The offense gets the ball back, and wouldn't you look at it, 2 plays, 90 yards, touchdown. That's kind of outside of South Carolina and parts of it. That's been the story for Bama. And then the defense is on the field for a long time. For Oklahoma, you have the reverse issue where you can't score. And then the defense is on the field for a long time. So, yeah, that's you're not wrong, Chris. You're not wrong. And Chris, I saw your comment about switching to Arnold and that Arnold got too much of the blame. But like I said, we were cutting the video, so I couldn't get to it. I do agree with you. I mean, you fast forward to now, and this isn't downing Hawkins. I will say it. I think Hawkins is an incredibly talented young man. I think he's got an incredibly bright future. I do. But what has changed? What has changed since the quarterback switch? If anything, Coach, here's the problem. You have two quarterbacks that are pretty darn similar. They're dual threat mobile guys. Now they run differently. But at the end of the day, they're still very young in learning how to read a defense. So, find me a young quarterback that's not still in the learning process, and I'm going to show you a guaranteed first rounder, right? Young quarterbacks, that's natural. You're still learning how to read. But the problem with Oklahoma, they're both still in the learning to read, and they both will take off whenever they feel any sort of pressure. It's not like at Alabama, Coach, where you have two total different styles in the quarterback, where you have Jalen, who is really playing high-level football this year as a passer. I mean, I'm so happy for Jalen Milroe. But as a runner, I don't need to go in to tell everybody what a threat he is.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you have Ty Simpson, who Ty's a dual threat guy as well, but teams are going to be more worried about stopping his arm, and that's when he's going to get them with his leg, right? Texas is a little bit similar, where Quinn, pocket passer, and Arch will get out on space if you let him and hurt you with his legs. I bring that to you because if one quarterback isn't working, you have something that's a little bit different to help your offense. With Oklahoma, stylistically, they don't run the same, but from a theory standpoint, they're both similar quarterbacks. Very young, learning how to read a defense, and dual threat guys. And so it's really interesting. Chris says Hawkins looks scared to throw the ball downfield. If I'm Seth Luttrell, I'm telling him, hey, man, if you throw an interception, you throw an interception.
Yeah.
We got to learn in the fire right now. If you throw an interception, the only way I'm going to get mad at you if you come off the field hanging your head. That's where I'm going to get mad at you. If you throw an interception and you come off with your head held high, what difference does it make at this point? What difference does it make? Yeah, it's fascinating. It's really interesting. Really, really interesting.
It's going to be tough, man, because until these guys get a consistent, and it don't even have to be a volume thing. You don't have to throw 30 passes a game. But until you get some sort of threat of a forward passing game, everybody going to play you single high safety. Everybody going to want to stop your run. Everybody going to put your offensive line in a horrible situation because they know you can't throw the ball. Everybody's going to bring pressure, stunts, all these different things they can afford to do when you know you don't have to play a team with a consistent or logical forward passing game. It's so much you can do to a team like that. So much you can do. So, man, I don't even know what the answer is. It's just like Ty just said. When you think about before, sure, Hawkins provided some great plays with his feet early. A lot of teams didn't have film on the young man, so they didn't really know what he brought to the table. And he made some big plays, as he should, as we did against Georgia in the first half. No film. We used to call it no film, no reaction. You ain't got no reaction. You're just playing to be playing. Well, you got film on Hawkins now, and a lot of people have figured out that they're not allowing him to throw the ball, or he's not confident in throwing the ball into deep pockets and things of that nature in certain sections of the field. Going forward, that is going to hurt you terribly, terribly, like it did in the Red River rivalry. It later in that game when Texas caught up with you, it really hurt you. Those guys were gambling on the back end, and you couldn't take advantage of it. And man, that says a lot. It's the same reason why the Steelers are going to Russell Wilson right now. Not saying you played horrible, Justin Fields, but you can't challenge a team downfield. A team is going to beat you up in the front seven and going to play you a certain way. You got to be able to challenge a team downfield, or you're helping and you're aiding to your own demise in that football game.
Yeah, and Mark has an interesting comment here. Seth Luttrell can't scheme a guy open or play. That's the thing for me is I understand how hurt you are, but at a certain, like, I haven't seen OU's offense even try and get creative very much this year. And with all the injuries, with all the new, that's when you should be trying to get real creative. Let's get somebody open. Let's create something. And I just haven't seen it. So I really do think this is a must-win game for Oklahoma. I think Ben G makes a great point. I think you can easily argue the other side of this as well, that this is a must-win game for South Carolina. And that makes it beautiful for us, the college football fan, to watch this game. Very excited about this one, Coach. And I know this is one that a lot of people will throw away because I anticipate an ugly football game.
Where they playing? Is it
I
in
think it's
Oklahoma?
Norman. I think it's Norman.
Is it Norman? Okay. That crowd need to come out and do their part. That crowd needs to come out and really get behind those guys, man, and uplift them. When you're in a situation like that, the crowd can really, really, really aid you in your execution. When you hear your fans going like that, man, you get that extra mojo, man. That momentum is a real thing. So if I'm an Oklahoma fan, man, if you go home and you're not hoarse, you hadn't did your job, go out, support the hell out of that team. Oklahoma will be fine. They'll be fine in this game.
Yeah, and Chris, this is where I'm at with it, Chris. And I know, Ben G, you make a great point, Ben, where you said Jackson Arnold was throwing interceptions and people wanted him yanked. If Hawkins does the same thing, they'll be calling for him to sit out too. You're not wrong. But this is where I'm at is where Chris is. At least Arnold threw the ball downfield, and if it got intercepted, it got intercepted. But you got to do something. Like, something's got to go. Hummus, our Ohio State fan. Hummus, happy you're here, man. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying your week. Looking forward to your weekend. Happy you're here. Saying Justin Fields throws one of the best deep balls in the league. That's not the problem. It's his intermediate passing. That and his yeah. I haven't watched a whole lot of NFL, but
well, for me, Hummus is correct. But when I say deep ball, I'm speaking about when you have two safeties high. Justin seems to hesitate. He seems to hesitate. Like we had 3 turnovers as a Steeler team against the Cowboys, and we couldn't capitalize on it several times. If you watched all 22, my favorite route of all time, post corner route wide open. He hesitate. It's like he don't want to throw it. Then he'll take off running. That's fine, but going forward, get into division play, having to play the Ravens twice, you got to have some semblance of a forward pass game, or these guys are just going to load the box and beat you up, right? And we don't really have the running backs or weapons, even in Najee and Warren, to do anything. You got to have, even if it's not completed, you have to at least challenge them downfield in that league, because that league is about adjustments. You have to make them adjust to you on offense, or you losing from the jump in that league. It's about moving the chains in that league, not necessarily about scoring points, believe it or not.
yeah, 100%. Well, Coach, let's talk about a game where we agree on the South Carolina Oklahoma game. I think we agree on Bama Tennessee, even though we might. Let's talk about a game we disagree on, because this is a fun one, and that's Texas Georgia, right? Because I think Texas is going to win this game. I have Texas winning it by 7 to 10 points. When I look, Georgia has their best offensive lineman out, and that's not new to the Texas game. He was out whenever Alabama played him. That's part of the reason why I was confident in Alabama winning that game, is I liked being able to take advantage of that. Texas up front, a lot of talent on that defensive front, a lot of talent on that offensive line. I mean, their offensive line's playing phenomenal football. When I look at this, Coach, for me, when I look at how I think Georgia can win, Georgia has got to be perfect in terms of they have got to really test Texas deep. They have got to try and get Texas into a too high look to alleviate something from the box, and they've got to get their running game going. If I'm asking myself which team has a higher margin for error in this game, I think Texas can get away with more mistakes, more things not going well. Whereas Georgia, I just think they have to play a perfect game in order to beat the Horns, because the Horns are playing such good defense. Chris, they've been all over the place, but do not get it mistaken. And there's a reason why I will always say, I don't know that I could put them as elite, but they are very, very, very good still. I understand what happened at Mississippi State. I think Michael Van Buren is a quarterback we need to keep our eye out on. I think he's going to be very, very talented. And actually, Steven Fanatic's perspective, Nino, myself, Jay, we were talking about this. They both said they were very happy to play Michael Van Buren early. And not that Texas was ever going to lose that game. Texas was going to beat Mississippi State. That not my point. Point being, and the point they were making, is that kid is going to be a very talented quarterback. I still think Georgia's got a very good defense, Chris, and that's why I'm saying if y'all get this win, it's a huge win. Because I'm probably higher on Georgia than most people, but even having said that, I just think that Texas owns the advantage out wide. I like Texas's offensive line against Georgia's defensive line. I think Texas has a better variety to their offense where they're going to get the tight end involved, the wide receivers involved, and the running backs involved. Defensively, I don't know how good your secondary is. I know it's good, but this is going to be the quarterback that's going to test you deep. And because of that, I just think that bodes well for Texas. Coach, thoughts? Because I know that earlier on in the week, and listen, as the week goes on, I've changed my mind on games before, but I know earlier on in the week you had Georgia in this one. What are you thinking now? Wouldn't be alive if we weren't on mute.
My bad, man. I got the mute on this mic. The mute button is right on top of the dadgum mic, so forgive me. Shout out to my brother Brinsky too. Shout out to Brinsky. Anthony Mazzano. Really quickly, if you guys keep winning and beat Clemson, the world will take notice. It just keep doing what you're doing. If Miami keeps doing what they're doing, if they beat Clemson at some point in time during the season, I don't know if you guys played them in the regular season, but you'll see them. That's a whole fact. If you beat those guys, the world will take notice to that win. Trust me.
And you get the automatic bid if you win
and
the
you get the
ACC.
automatic bid. So you would definitely, you just handle your business. Miami will be just fine. They're in the perfect position right now. As far as Georgia and Texas go, to me, man, everything you said is spot on. I can't even disagree with you on any of that. But when I look at Texas, man, Texas, like I said, I don't know if they're the best team or not. The first 6-7 games, excuse me, I don't know who's the best team, but I can tell you Texas is playing better and more consistent than any other team I've seen this season, right? That's undeniable. What I would say to that is I'm not sure Texas has faced the level of competition that they're going to face against Georgia. Georgia's going to provide a defense that these guys, you're not going to be able to go out there and run meshes all day against Georgia, right? You're going to have to match on the back end at some point in time with Georgia because they love play action. You're going to have to bring some resources in the box, and you're not going to be able to stop. If you commit less resources to the box, Georgia is going to run the ball. They'll run the ball 40 times on you if they have to. And it ain't even about getting 8-9 yards. It's about getting 3 yards, 4 yards, 2 yards, 7 yards, 8 yards, play action, come back 3. Georgia do that to you all game long. Georgia's going to provide a level of competition that I don't think Texas has faced yet. They're going to provide a defensive front that's going to really work your offensive line. And I got a lot of faith in Kirby, man. I got a lot of faith in Kirby. I think this is where not playing, and not saying Texas hadn't played nobody, because say what you want about Michigan, going to Ann Arbor against that defense, doing what they did, even beating Oklahoma the way they did, man, you are playing the best out of everybody right now.
Yeah.
But one thing about Sark, man, Sark loves matchups. I know this personally. I'm a Sark guy. I've attended his camps before and he was down here. Sark is a matchup guy. He runs a lot of plays with a lot of pass concepts built in, a lot of option routes built in. Kirby is going to stunt you to death to take that away from you. Kirby's going to match on the back end to where you won't have these receivers running all over the place. Can you win the one-on-one battle against their receivers, against their defensive backs? Sure, right? But I think from a pressure package, Kirby is going to do some things that Texas hadn't seen this year. And Georgia's going to play keep away. Georgia's going to run that ball, man. Don't forget, if you play man on the back end, you hadn't played a team that can really exploit your secondary yet. That's why your secondary is rated so high. Carson Beck can exploit you if you play man on the back end, man. He can. So Georgia can provide some problems that Texas hadn't seen this year. Playing on the road, Kirby's going to be smart on offense. Mike Bobo's not going to try to go out and go five wide for 7 series in a row. The more Georgia can shorten the game, the more that and keep it close, the more that's in Georgia's favor, not Texas, to me. Georgia's physical, man, and they make great halftime adjustments. So I just feel like you're gonna see a Georgia team that don't have nothing to lose. They've already lost one game. They're gonna go into this thing on the road, and you're gonna see what Kirby Smart can do. Kirby Smart is a hell of a coach, especially when he have good film on you. People get unwound about the Alabama game, but remember, man, Kirby had no film on DeBoer outside of Washington. Now we don't run the same offense that he ran at Washington. It's some nuances in there of things that he did at Washington with pre-snap motions and obviously pinning and pulling. There's some things in there that he did at Washington, but Kirby had no film on him at Alabama, right? So a lot of those plays that you seen Georgia wasn't prepared for that. Those are things that they hadn't even practiced for. You see what happened after the halftime. When they went back in, they adjusted to not let us hit them on the outside. They adjusted to take away the deep ball and give up the intermediate, give up the middle. And they put belt to our asses in the second half. Um, so it's going to be a great game, man. But I look for Georgia to come out and play their best game of the season. I look for them to shorten the game and make Sark play a whole different ball game. They're not going to get into that wide open, you score, I score, you score, I score. They're not going to do that. They're going to put you in the phone booth. They're going to be totally content with getting 3 yards on the play. A lot of 12 personnel, a lot of shifts, a lot of different things to come out and present some different looks for Texas. If this game is close, man, after halftime, that's a Georgia win. That's not a Texas win. That's a Georgia win. So I just feel like Georgia is going to be a little more physical than Texas has seen this year. I feel like they're going to test Texas on the back end at times in the game. At times, they're not going to come out like just hoist the ball up in the air from the jump like they did us. Um, so it's going to be interesting, man. We're going to really see how good Texas is with these guys. I think Texas beat Oklahoma like that because they had no fear of a passing game, which played right into Texas's wheelhouse at some point during the game. Once they catch up with you on offense, right, which usually takes around the third quarter, late second, that game was over after that. Three and out, three and out, three and out, three and out, punt, 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 punt. This is going to be a really, really close game, a really, really good game. But I promise you, man, I just feel like Georgia and Kirby Smart's halftime adjustments will be the key. I don't think those option routes that Sark has gotten away with against everybody is going to be open like that against Georgia. And the aggressiveness of Georgia's front seven is really, really, really going to put pressure on whatever quarterback plays. And I don't think Quinn has the athletic ability to get out of the way all the time. You don't got to sack him. You don't have to sack him. Just create pressure, get him off his square, and kind of like the same way you do Carson Beck. Kind of like the same way you do Carson Beck. I think Arch Manning would provide more of a lethal weapon, because he can outrun the
He
blitz,
can,
he can
yeah.
outrun the stunts. Yeah, you run pressure principles against Arch Manning and you don't get home, it could be 6 points, easy. So it wouldn't shock me if Sark got a whole package or two for the young Manning. So all the stats are in Texas corner. And Texas could easily win this game. Don't get me wrong at all. This thing could go either way. But I just feel like the experience of Kirby with these offenses, the option route offenses, because I seen Missouri play Georgia very close. And Eli Drinkwitz run a very similar offense, man. So, I picked Georgia to go in that thing and play very, very solid, shorten the game, and win a close one. Field goal type stuff.
Got it. Love it. And where I think both of us very much will agree is I think Georgia's the most complete team Texas has played. I do value the Michigan win. I do value the Oklahoma win. I value the Michigan win because Michigan's offense is dog water. I mean, it's terrible. And the crazy part is they benched that quarterback for a quarterback that has he thrown for 100 yards yet? That
And I
offense
don't
is
even know.
awful. But that defense is good. I really like Michigan's defense. And it's, once again, it's how you beat them. I mean, Texas's offense bullied that defense, straight up bullied them. So I value that win. And it's in Ann Arbor. I value that win. I value the Oklahoma win. Once again, I don't think that Oklahoma's got a good offense, but it's a rivalry game. And I was
And
the
beat them
one
like
saying,
that.
yeah,
Fact.
I was the one saying before that game, take all conventional wisdom, throw it out the window because that's how these games go. And that's what you did to them. I value that win. So I'm not sitting here, and Coach Sean, I love the way you framed this because I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, Texas has played nobody. And I'm like, I don't know that it's they've played nobody because they have wins that I very much well value.
Facts.
I don't think they've played a totally complete football team, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I think that Georgia is the most complete team they will play. And like Chris said, Chris didn't think that the defense was elite. I don't know that I can say Georgia's defense is elite this year, but I still think
Right.
it's very good. They're very well coached. They're very athletic. You get this win, that is one of the top 3 wins in college football thus far this year, in my opinion. I think
Think
that
about this, Ty.
go ahead.
Who, when you look at it from Georgia has played a very, very physical front in Kentucky. Georgia has played a team with a running quarterback in Alabama. Who has Texas played that can really challenge them on the back end?
They haven't. Michael Van Buren was the closest, and he's still so young.
If you play that man principle, and if you dare go into a safety over the top, which you probably will, against their run game, Carson Beck can take advantage of you. He can. I don't think Texas has played a team that can beat them in the run game. And when I say beat them, I don't think nobody's just going to line up and beat up Texas all game, especially not at home. But when I say beat them, I mean get 4 yards this game. The sticks, play the sticks. I think Georgia can play the sticks with them. It's going to be up to Sark to me because Sark has got to me, Sark has got to score in this game. If you can put pressure on Georgia and score, if you can score 6 points, not 3, that's what's going to really help you against Georgia, right? Georgia's defense can be had on the back end. I think Sark will scheme up some things to, just like Ty said, to give them some advantages. But I think my plan would be to shorten the game. I don't think Georgia's going to come out there and go past happy. I think Georgia's perfectly content with getting 4 yards, 3 yards, 5 yards of play. Play the sticks against Texas. Time possession. Keep Quinn in that offense on the sideline and limit their possessions. Keep this game 10-7, 14-10, 17-14. That's in Georgia's wheelhouse, not Texas, right? And that would be my game plan. I think that both of these teams will see things from each other that they hadn't seen. I don't think Georgia's played a team that can exploit the passing game the way Texas did. I guess I should say, we did very well the first half. Second half, we did absolutely nothing. I think Texas can really have a big advantage against these guys in the passing game, scheming up some things underneath, scheming up post corner routes if they catch Georgia playing man.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a great game, man. But I just look for Georgia to shorten this game like nobody has against Texas yet, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this game. I've been looking forward to this game since before the season, and it's because whenever you look at this, for me, and this is the last thing I'll say on this, what type of offensive mind gave Nick Saban and by extension Kirby Smart problems? And it's that Sark mentality, right? Where it's like, hey, we're going to go at you. We are going to test you deep. You are going to have to cover every blade of grass on this field. And Anthony, you asked earlier about whether or not I thought Georgia would be able to run the ball in the trenches. I think that they would love to, but they just haven't been able to do that this year.
Yeah.
And Anthony, I know I'll let Coach Sean answer this. I can't say no. I would not say they're Swiss
Hmm.
cheese. I think they're very good. My
Very good.
question is how good? Like,
Yeah.
where do I put you when I'm ranking? Because right now I think that they're very, very, very good. I just don't know
Yeah.
how good. We're gonna figure that out on Saturday.
Yes.
What's your thought, Coach? Same.
Yeah, 100%. Like I don't when you watch Texas, I don't think nobody has attacked them consistently downfield yet. I don't think they've played a team that's capable of doing that consistently against them. Um, Oklahoma wasn't going to do it, right? You stop the run with Oklahoma, you put pressure on their front five, their offensive line, you beat up their tight end, and you put pressure on their quarterback and spy to keep him from running. That's a win because they have no consistent forward pass game, right? You can afford to play different coverages against Oklahoma without worrying about what happens on the back end. You're not going to be able to do that against Georgia. Georgia don't have that Ryan Williams type player, but they have a lot of good receivers that will beat you on deep routes. They have a quarterback that's accurate enough that if you play man and you're out of position, they can bite you on that. They can really attack you. And knowing Kirby on the road at home, what's the number one thing you do? Take away something that team does well to keep the crowd out of it. And if Georgia's able to do that in the first half and keep that a close game, watch out, man. Watch out.
Yeah, Shadow says Texas DBs played a bunch of backups quarterbacks last year and gave up a ton of points. They definitely look better compared to last. Oh, I 100% agree, Shadow. I 100% agree. That was the area that Texas had to get better at this year. They had to get better at. It was that secondary, and they have. But I'm very excited to see just how much better. And this weekend is going to be the test for them. Go ahead, Coach.
Thanks. But let me give some love to Texas. If Georgia comes out and they go 3-and-out too much, Texas is the team that will blow their asses out.
Yeah.
Let me give it on the other end. If Kirby's not careful and he comes out and go 3-and-out too much on the road, and you let the crowd get into it from the defense playing well, and the crowd is hyped, and that old gluteus maximus hole started to tighten up a little bit, Texas will kick their asses. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it wrong. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
and Sark is all too happy. You start
Yeah.
going 3-and-out, and especially if you
Yes.
give him advantageous field position,
Facts.
he will like you pop that ball in the 50-yard line, he's liable on second down to take a 50-yard shot at the end
Yes.
zone, and they've
Yes.
got the guys on the outside.
100% facts.
Bond is playing so I hope he's a go in this game. I know he's probable. I hope he's a go because he's having a good year. Wingo is a problem. Wingo is a big problem.
Yes.
Shadow saying he's going Texas 38, Georgia 32 in a back and forth matchup. That'd be a hell of a game. A hell of a game. I like I said, Shadow 10. Coach Sean's taking Georgia in a close one. This is a great game. Now, it's not my game of the week, selfishly. And y'all know why, because Bama's playing a rival, so I have to give my game of the week to the rivalry matchup. But I don't think that there's any denying this is one of the biggest games that's been played this year is Texas-Georgia. And that's why I said, Ben, Shadow, y'all get this win, you have a top 3 win in college football right now. And
Yes.
you've been playing the best. I mean, you would almost, not almost, you would really separate that number 1 ranking. If you're asking me the top 3 wins in college football right now, no particular order. Assuming y'all get this one, Texas over Georgia, Bama over Georgia, Oregon over Ohio State. Those are the best 3 wins in college football right now.
Yeah.
And
don't look now. And don't look now, Ty. Don't look now. I know it's only been 1 week, but that Vandy loss ain't looking that bad right now.
Yeah, that's where we are. That's where we are, right?
The
Well,
Vandy loss. We're
think
trying to value that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, right.
That's where we're at now. But I think at some level, Coach, you're not wrong. Vandy's better than people are giving them credit for, but it's still one of those losses where it's like, man, oh man. Man. That sucks.
Right.
But I also think if Chris Griffin was here, he loves my saying, two things can be true at the same
True at
time.
the same time. Facts.
That's a loss you never wanted to take, and that Vandy is a better team than I think people gave them credit for. And I got to give them a lot of credit for that win this past weekend, because whenever they started doing all the podcasts after beating Alabama, I was worried for Vandy. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, God, you think that that's your season. Y'all are going to get blown out, and you're going to make us look bad. But no, they came out, got the W, even after all that. And so, listen, good for them. Diego Pavia, hell of a quarterback, man. Like, he is what college football is about. Hummus saying that their talent composite is in the top 40. Thank you very much for helping me out, Hummus. You're making me feel
crazy
better.
for Vandy. Shout out to Clark Lee, man. Shout out to Clark Lee.
Yeah, shout out Clark Lee. God, you still don't ever want to take that loss, though. But
I know, right? Golly, man.
It's still one of those things where it's like both things can be true. You don't want to take the loss, but also Vandy is a better team than I think. I would have never thought going into the year that Vandy would be as good as they are this year.
Yep.
And it's wild that they lost to Georgia Southern.
I know.
It's wild.
Crazy.
Because they've played Missouri really close. I mean, they almost got that win.
Won that game, actually.
Yeah, they
really
probably should have. But let's talk about
Vandy doesn't have an SEC loss. Don't forget that now.
Well, Missouri.
Oh, that's right. They lost to Missouri. I'm sorry. That's right. That's right. Just keep winning, Vandy. Just keep winning.
Yeah, please. Please. Just win the rest of your games for our sake, Vandy, and I'll send you an edible arrangements or something. I don't know. Send me your allergy list, Diego Pavia, and if you keep winning, I'll send you a customized edible. You know what's going to be the funniest thing is if I actually get a DM in Twitter, and it's from Diego Pavia, and he's like, I like this type of edible arrangement. I swear to you, you keep winning, I will send you an edible arrangement.
Make that 2.
I swear to God, I will. I swear to you, I will. I swear to you, I will. But no, we talked about what I think is probably the game of the week in college football, and that's Georgia. Mark says Vandy versus Texas in the SEC championship game. That'd be funny, man. Like, what could I say? That'd be ridiculous. We've talked about what I think is objectively probably the game of the week, Texas, Georgia. I mean, it's an incredible matchup. It's an incredible opportunity for both teams. For Georgia to get that one loss off your, I mean, it'll still be there, but you'll feel much better. You would have beaten the number 1 team. You're going to feel great. For Texas, it's an opportunity to continue going forward. Anthony says, Coach and Ty, I hope this doesn't sound ridiculous, but I can see Texas and Georgia going into triple overtime. It could happen. I mean, it's college football, Anthony. You're 100% right. I really, as much as I respect Kirby, as much as I think he's the number 1 coach in college football, I also understand like what type of offensive philosophy gave Nick Saban problems, and Kirby does what Saban does, and there's a reason why whenever Bama played Georgia, I was so confident, like, hey, I'm not saying Bama's going to blow them out, but I'm taking DeBoer to beat him. Why? Because that offensive philosophy can give you problems because I know your defensive philosophy. I feel the same way about Texas and Sark. And I just think that Texas is playing the best football right now in the country. So super excited for this game. But, Coach, let's talk about our game of the week.
Yes, sir.
Tennessee, Alabama. And this game is fascinating because Hummus says, sorry, I misspoke. Vandy is 50th. I'll take it. They're inside the top 50. I'll take it.
Still, shout out to Clark Lee. Man,
I'll
Vandy.
take it. I will absolutely take it. Oh, Hummus, it hurts that this is where we are, but that's the fun of college football, right? Like, that's the fun of this. Looking at this game, Coach Sean, if you would have asked me midsummer, the matchup I was most excited to see in this Tennessee-Alabama game, it would have been Tennessee's offense against Alabama's defense. That veer and shoot with Nico, a very talented quarterback, very young, very talented. Heupel, really in tune with what he wants to do. Sampson, the running back, playing excellent football. That would have been my answer. Fast forward to game week, and my answer is actually the opposite. what I'm most excited to see, shout out Janet, shout out Nicole, Shane,
And it
Benji, Keenafy, Hummus, everybody in here.
dang.
Hope you're having a great day. But what I'm actually most excited to see is the flip side. I'm most excited to see Bama's offense go after this Tennessee defense that has been a really highly rated defense, because even when we look at the stats, Tennessee's offense still, I think, is number 9 in scoring offense. Tennessee fans, don't crucify me for saying this, because I do think you still have a very good offense. I do. Let me say that before I get to this. What you did in the first few weeks of college football is really padding up those stats, right? Because here recently, Tennessee's offense has not played as well. Now, neither has Alabama's defense. Those two units have really struggled. But Arkansas, you only scored 14 points. Florida, you only scored 23. Oklahoma, you only scored 25. Tennessee's offense is ranked where they are because the first few games of the season, you beat Chattanooga 69-3, NC State 51-10, and you beat Kent State 71-0. That's really propping up where your offense is right now. But that defense is still really, really good. Coach Sean, before I pass it to you, Arkansas has got one of the better rated offenses in the nation. And this Tennessee defense held them to 19 points. What are you thinking about this game? What are you looking forward to? I've got to go get some water because I'm losing my voice, and I will be right back.
No problem. For me, guys, this game comes down to third down to me. Man, I dare say, and shout out to Janet. Love you, Janet. Love you for sure. Much love to you. Much love to my brother Moon Rocker. If you want to know how to get in shape, holla at Lisa Fitz, you and my brother Moon Rocker. They will take inches off your waist and add rocks to your waist. Them guys. Shout out to Shane B too. Shout out to all you guys in the chat again. But for me, guys, man, it's third down. I hate, and you guys know my lack of affinity. I'll just say it that for Tennessee. I'm that Bama fan. Shout out to Ebony and Ivory live together in perfect harmony. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Ebony? Shout out to the young baller Noah Carter himself. Much love to you guys. For me, it's about third down, man. It's about third down, right? I hate to bring this up, bro, because it makes my gums hurt, right? That's how painful it is for me. I remember those, 2 years ago? Was it our last trip to Neyland? No, that was the Bryce year. Was it the last trip to Neyland when they beat us? Yeah, that was when it was. 2 years ago, our last trip to Neyland, when they caught DeMarco Helms on the hash and we would not adjust. And those guys bombed on us. Shout out to High Power TV, Nicole Covington, all the family, man. That game brings me back bad memories, nightmares, right? These guys are going to try to run 1,000 plays a minute. Our young secondary is going to be under constant barrage, but these guys are going to run the ball. They have a running back, Dylan Sampson, that may possibly be and arguably be the best running back in the SEC. Home run hitter, strong amongst the tackles. Man, Ebony, you already know how we feel, baby. Love you back for sure, for sure.
Thank you
know
very
what I'm
much,
saying?
Ebony. I like the
Yeah,
picture
man.
of you floating the river as well.
Yeah, I did too.
Looked
I
like you were
seen
having
that.
a good time.
Wildlife. I'm like, I just can't picture this in Arizona, right? Um, I worry, man. You know, I'm a pessimist by nature. I worry, guys. Third down for me is we used to call it the money down on offense. That's the money down. The more third downs we have, that means the farther we're getting downfield, right? Every third down you get is a blessing because that means that you get another third down chance. That means you're getting first downs. So when I look at 2 years ago, what happened with those guys on third down, we could not get off the field. And that's how they end up beating us, man. So I worry about that, man. Shout out to Lisa D. Lipscomb. What's up, Lisa? Um, I get worried about it, man. I get worried about it because just like Ty said, these guys started out as a fireball on offense. They since tailed off a little bit, but so has our defense, to be quite frank, right? We've talked in depth about our defense and the problems we've had with getting off the field on third down. Um, I worry about that in this game, man. I worry about not getting pressure or on Nico. I mean, he's a young quarterback, but any quarterback in the SEC, if you play man coverage with a true freshman and it's just him against him, my man against yours, they're gonna take that. Any quarterback in this league can read that. Any quarterback, without any pressure on him. Any quarterback in this league can complete that pass, right? So I worry about it, man. I can't lie. I think our offense is. I think this game is gonna be up to our offense, man. I think Jalen Milroe is gonna have some great opportunities in this game. Now Tennessee did a great job on Jalen last year. They did a great job. So whatever their game plan was, it worked. But I think Jalen is a more well-rounded player at this point. I don't think you can play him in certain ways, right? Shout out to Ryan S. What's up, Ryan? Lance Hunter. What's up with you guys, man? Um, I do think we're going to have opportunities on offense, man. I think the opportunities for us to score some points will be there. But I do worry about Squirrel White and them boys getting in space against our young secondary. I do worry about some of our schematic things that we like to do on first down, biting us on third down, right? I do worry about us getting in 3rd and 7 and still can't get off the damn field. I do worry about these guys running 70 plays and our defense is on the field the entire game, just like South Florida. I do worry about those things, man. Rightfully so, right? History. South Florida game, same thing. Western Kentucky game, the drives, not the points, the drives, right? I worry about those things, guys. I do against a team like Tennessee that's going to be motivated to play Alabama. That's going to be hella motivated to play Alabama. I worry about their crowd. This will be the loudest crowd that our players have played against on the road, right? But our offense can score some points against this team. They provide some things that we can take advantage of, right? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. It's two teams of polar opposites that's in the same place, if you will. Just like Ty just said, it's going to be their offense against our defense, our offense against their defense, if you know what I'm saying. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
Now, here's a question I just asked Lance. And Coach Sean, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to ask every Alabama fan in the chat. What cigar do you have picked out in the event you get the win?
For me, I don't smoke, so I will have a pretzel, and I'm going to take a picture and put it on Twitter because we're going to win the game. I have a pretzel in my damn mouth. It's going to look like a cigar.
I like pretzels,
and that's about all
too.
you can ask. And that's about all you can ask, Coach.
I like pretzels too. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I'm in between a few. I got this tattoo monster mash, Lance. It's 14 different cigars in it, and I'm down to the last few. Right, I'm down to the last 2 actually, and I'm choosing whether or not I want to keep one of those. I have a Padron 1926 and 1964, or a Plasencia Almafuerte, and I don't know. I'm thinking that Plasencia might be it because that's Ryan. I see you. Enjoy, my man. Enjoy. I'm just, man, I think it'd probably be that Plasencia Almafuerte. That's the good one. Those tattoos, they're so darn good, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to hold off before the game. I'll probably have one before the game. Saturday, Coach, it's gotten bad. It might be a 2-cigar day. Saturdays have been 2-cigar days sometimes.
Yes, sir. Going through them. Yes, sir.
Yeah. You know, a cherry-flavored cigar. There you go. I don't know what it was, Lisa, for me. Because I'm going to be honest with y'all. I haven't really drank in years, right? Like, Coach Carl in here says he's just listening. All good, Coach. All good. I have about 20 minutes, and then I got to head over to Bleacher Report. Always happy to have you in here, though, my man. Always happy to have you in here. I don't know what it was. So when we do our fraternity events, Coach Sean, we would always do like a cigar social. So I haven't had an authentic Cuban, Anthony. I want a Cohiba, and the story behind those, Coach Sean, are so crazy because Cohiba, if I'm not mistaken, and Anthony Lance, if I'm wrong, please correct me. I never want to give out wrong information, and I always enjoy learning. Cohiba is such a sought-after cigar because during the Castro regime, the Cohiba family couldn't make cigars for the regular people. They were only to be made for his inner circle. And so for years on years on years, you had this great cigar brand that nobody could get unless you were one of Castro's inner circle. And then when the regime fell, then like the legend of Cohiba really took off. And so they're very sought after cigars. I've never had them, but I think it was for me, the cigar socials. We would do those for a fraternity event once everybody gets their bid, they accept their bid. And I was a Fiji in college, so we would do the cigar socials, and it just went from there to having a cigar every now and then, and now that's really my vice. I don't drink really ever. It's just the occasional cigar, and I say occasional. Usually Saturdays is 2 cigars, but y'all are here for college football talk, not cigar talk. I might have to start a cigar channel for the cigar talk. But looking at this game, Coach, I loved everything you said. I actually switched to my AirPods as I went to get something to drink, so I was listening. This is a Tennessee team where I understand that the offense hasn't been great here recently, but I'm not wanting to give them any more opportunities than necessary. Getting off the field on 3rd down is going to be really key. And what's so crazy is against South Carolina, there were like 4 plays to me that really probably about 6 plays that really decided that game. And outside of those 6 plays, 4 of which I thought came on the defense, or maybe it was 3 and 3. Outside of those, Mark, that's a good name. New pod around the humidor. We might, hey, don't give me any ideas. Outside of those plays, I thought that Alabama played South Carolina fairly well, but it was one of those things where those plays completely changed. Like, there's bad plays, Coach Sean, and then there's disastrous plays. Bama didn't have 6 bad plays. They had 6 disastrous plays, right? And that, to me, completely changed the momentum of the game. And I'm not even talking about the touchdown that Alabama gave up at first, where Zay Mincy got confused, because that's a result of having a bunch of young defensive backs on the field. Cool. I get it. That doesn't bother me, right? But the onside kick hits 4 people. I don't know that it hit 4 people. I'm exaggerating. But it hits multiple Alabama players and come up with it. That's disastrous. The interception before half. That's probably the worst throw Milroe has made all year. And I'll live with that. Right? I'm fine with that. Quarterbacks make mistakes. That was the first Milroe mistake where I was like, oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
The safety, right? I don't know who to be more mad at, the fact that it happened or the fact that we are backed up on that far back, and you try and pass the ball against this South Carolina defense that's pinning their ears back and hunting. Like, they wanted to get to Jalen Milroe. They didn't play Alabama the way so many people do, right? They said, we want to get after you. Why? And it's one of those things, Coach Sean, where, and you and I text about this, Coach Carl, we've talked about this on Monday.
Facts.
Alabama was trying to be aggressive before the half, and it bit them. And so it's one of those things where you're a genius if it works, and you're an idiot if it doesn't. And so I find myself in the middle. Because against Wisconsin, this coaching staff got very aggressive and drove the field right before half. Points, gained momentum, never looked back. So I get it. But at the same time, the safety, I mean, those are what I mean when I said there were not bad plays. There were disastrous plays. Now, the flip side of that, if you're an Alabama fan, where this should make you feel better is I didn't think that outside of those disastrous plays, Alabama played bad. I actually thought that the defense did pretty well outside of those few plays. And then the last long touchdown, that's Nicholas Harbor.
Yeah.
Kid
That was just a great play.
Well,
Yeah.
Coach, the kid runs a 10-100-meter dash at 6'5", 245 pounds. Yeah. That's one of those where I'm like, man, I wish you wouldn't have done that. But can I be mad at a defense? Like, there's no defensive back that's going to keep up with him.
Yeah, that was just a great play.
Yeah, we're lucky Damani runs a 10-2.
Yeah.
Because outside of that, that does give me hope, right? I hope nobody's listening to me thinking, oh, he's being a doomer. No, actually the opposite. I'm giving you all of this to say I actually feel like Alabama's defense played better. I think that the problem for Alabama was the first time on Saturday, like it wasn't just one disastrous play. The pick six against Vandy, that was just super unlucky. Receiver gets hit, ball pops in the air, they catch it, pick six. That's a disastrous play. Against South Carolina, there were multiple. But outside of those, I really thought that Bama defensively played better. Like actually had some things figured out. They were able to be successful on third down. One of the touchdowns came on a 4th and 7 or 4th and 9. No. We've already talked about that. A bunch of young defensive backs in the game. Good call, Beamer. Attacking the young defensive backs, right? Good call. I'm not mad at that. So, hey, listen, I think this game is going to be fascinating, but I also think that Tennessee's defense is legit. And what I would love to see, Coach, is what Bama did against Georgia, where they came out so aggressive, so ready for war, right? Where they were just like, okay, let's go out there and get on the board. Because if this turns into a shootout, I actually feel comfortable for Alabama winning. But I would rather it not be a shootout and Alabama come out aggressive, get some points, and then try and figure out how to stop this offense. Coach, on the one area where I didn't hear is I took out the AirPods when I was getting the ice because I didn't know if it would take me off mute whenever I was doing that. We need to be able to get Nico uncomfortable. And South Carolina is going to spread you out real wide. They're going to make you choose. Are you going to defend out wide or are you going to defend the box with more numbers?
Thanks.
We need to make Nico choose. Now, one thing other teams have been doing is they've been showing a light box pre-snap and then completely changing it to where, no, it was never a light box. And that stifled Tennessee's run game. I would like to think that Alabama will do something similar. Coach Carl, are you here with us now? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing better.
Coach.
I'm doing better, man. I just left the doctor's office so he don't have to get those injections from my back.
Ooh, your back doing okay, Coach?
Man, I've been having back problems ever since I started losing weight.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that because back problems are no joke.
And as soon as I started losing weight, my back started hurting. So that's the crazy part. When I was fatter, I ain't have any back problems.
Yeah.
What you thinking about this Tennessee game? You there with us, Coach? Well, he shall return shortly. But, Coach Sean, what is it that you need to see the most from Alabama against Tennessee?
Shout out to my brother, Coach Carl. Much love to Coach Carl, bro. Love to hear from you, Coach.
I hope your back is doing well. Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead and give your take. Give your take, Coach.
Well, Tennessee?
Yeah. What you need to see?
What I need to see from Tennessee is just basically, man, just execution on offense and defense to the fullest. We're going to make some mistakes. We're going to have some blown assignments, but I'd rather see pressure on defense and how they adjust to the pressure on offense.
That's 100% where I am.
how we
Where
handle the
you,
Yeah.
pressure and how much pressure we're gonna get on Nico. And if we make some mistakes on the back end, I can live with the mistakes on the back end. I just want to see what the pressure look like. Blitz pressure and picking up pressure. Other than that, man, I can live with the results.
yeah, I couldn't agree more, Coach Carl. We have a young secondary. And I know that, you don't want to ask so much of a young secondary by like putting them on islands, by sending
Yeah.
pressure. But at the same time, at this point, I'm like, send it.
I don't know. For
Send
some
it.
reason, I keep going out. So
No, you're good, Coach Carl. I 100% agree with your take. I'd love to see them send pressure because I just want to make Nico uncomfortable.
Yeah.
He's a very talented young quarterback, and if he gets comfortable, that's where I really think this Heupel offense is going to expand. And that's not where you want to be. Make him uncomfortable because the veer and shoot, for me, is very much, well, Coach Sean, what do I always call it? Foundational play calling.
It's a fact.
Where if you're not laying that foundation, it gets very hard to build the house upon it. Veer and shoot is like if they start getting momentum, we saw what happened in 2022 when that veer and shoot offense got momentum, and then it was just like knockout blow after knockout blow. And Alabama fought. They fought hard to stay in that game. But you saw how difficult it is whenever that offense is humming. I mean, they are throwing haymakers over and over again. They're not jabbing. That's not when this offense gets humming, the jab goes by the wayside and they are going for knockout blows.
Yes.
So I think if you can make Nico uncomfortable, you absolutely
2020.
do it. Oh, I think that might have been his radio. But, Coach Sean, someone asked, I think it was Tough as Nails, asked, how important is Peely to their defense?
I think anytime you lose a senior starter, it's definitely big. You look at those kids who they got starting around the kid. They got some talent on that defense, man. They got a lot of kids on that defense that Alabama recruited. And they got some older guys, man, at the free safety spot. They got some older guys at the defensive tackle and on the D line. If I'm not mistaken, fact check me on this. I think they got 3 seniors up there. Bailey, was it Bailey? Dominic Bailey? God, I forgot his name. Omari. One of them was Bailey, one of them was Thomas, and one of them was Eason, I believe. I thought they had 3 seniors up there. So
I think they're very veteran up front. And then James
yeah,
Pierce isn't the spring chicken. I mean,
yeah, man. So if I'm not mistaken, those D linemen, Bailey, Thomas, and Eason, I think all 3 of them dudes were seniors, if I'm not mistaken. Fact check me though. So these guys are gonna be veteran up front, but I think he's gonna be very important. Anytime you lose a senior starter, right? Because remember, you may have more talented freshmen behind him, but what is talent without game experience? We've seen that ourselves at Alabama. You can have all the stars in the world, right? If you don't have those experiences in college football, you're gonna have some bumps in the road. So I think it's big. I think it's big anytime you lose a senior. It don't even have to be a senior starter, a senior rotational piece, a guy that plays. And I think that kid had 29 tackles coming into this game.
Yeah, he's
So
their
anytime,
leading tackler and leader of the defense.
yeah, facts. So anytime you can lose someone with that cachet, yeah, it's definitely big. As far as the game is concerned, listen, I watched I'm an offensive guy, so I watched their offense. I think we can pick on number 53. I think he played left tackle. I think we can pick on him. He overextends a lot, gets out over his toes a lot, gets over his skis, as we call it. Um, I think there's a lot of things on offense that our defense can do to exploit them. Now, I will say this, that Tennessee, their bread and butter, these guys like to run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. They like to do a lot of play action, get your eyes in the wrong place and throw the ball over your head, right? So, and that's been our weakness on defense. We have a lot of middle linebacker play, a lot of secondary play where we getting our eyes in the wrong thing. We're getting our eyes in the wrong place. When you get your eyes in the wrong place, that's what creates big plays for the opposing team. So this game is real crazy, and don't make no mistake about it, guys. This is a very important weekend in college football. I would dare say, as far as a whole, this may be the most important college football win as far as the SEC is concerned. You know, with the way the standings is going, shout out to my brother Coach Al. Shout out to Coach Al, man. Um, yeah, we spoke on that as well. You can't let this kid get comfortable back there, coach. Just like Coach said, Coach Al said, can't let Nico complete slants and posts. Got to make him throw deep fades and corner routes. Exactly. You got to make this kid get off his square, get out of his comfort zone, make him throw deep as far as. But we want him to throw deep under duress. We don't want him to set his feet and throw deep. Facts. Facts to my brother Coach Carl, who make a great point. Um, we got to get some pressure on this kid and make him uncomfortable, get him out of his comfort zone. I don't want this kid to get in the easy throws early to get in the rhythm. So yeah, man, we don't want these kids to get their eyes in the wrong place on the defensive side of the ball. That's what gets us in trouble, taking a lot of bad angles, play action pass, getting us unfundamentally sound, letting these guys create some things over the top against us. Um, I think Jalen Miro need to have a Jalen Miro-esque game,
Yeah.
right? It's about time to have Jalen Miro have one of those 300 pass and 100-yard rushing games, right? We really need that from him this game. I hope the offensive coordinator set him up to do that. Not frivolous plays, but foundational play calling, just like Ty said. The way you do that is to run the ball, take some pressure off of him early, right? Make these guys adjust to the run game, and the game will come to the quarterback. Um, it's a very important weekend, man. Georgia could possibly go down 2 games in the SEC. We could possibly go down 2 games in the SEC. Tennessee could possibly go down. You don't want to go down 2 games with the way this format is. There is no divisions anymore, right? So you don't want to be 2 games back behind anybody with the LSU game looming, with the
Yeah.
Oklahoma game looming. We don't need to go
Missouri,
down two
Auburn.
games.
I mean, it's
Yes, man.
tough
We
stretch
don't need
ahead.
tough stretch. So this is a very important weekend in college football, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Most important weekend we've had thus far. Carl, what's your thoughts?
Hey, Ty, my thing is this, man. Anytime you let a quarterback, whether you're a true freshman, redshirt freshman, senior, if you let a quarterback get comfortable and they get in rhythm early, you're in for a long night. Because no matter how much pressure you bring, if they in rhythm and they confident, they're gonna eat you alive.
You're
So the
alive.
biggest thing you have to do with quarterback is get them off their rocker, make them nervous. Like we made Carson Beck, senior quarterback, nervous in the first half. He was nervous as all get out. Once the pressure start coming and he got comfortable, it's nothing you can do with him at that point. You start blitzing
Thanks.
him, he don't even care because he's in his bag. And if you want to get off to a good start, just bring the pressure. I don't care Alabama run the ball 6 times in a row and punt. Just let Tennessee know that we coming down here, we coming down here, we coming down here. Whether you like it or not, we gonna come down here. And then once you start opening the passing game up, they still got to worry about and Alabama just running down here. They trying to get their run game active. And if you stopping Tennessee run game, putting pressure on Nico, making Nico think before he can react, he gonna have to think real fast. Oh Lord, the blitz is coming. Now he got to worry about what side the blitz coming from. And you can show blitz and drop back in the zone coverage. Long as he thinking and not passing, you in good shape. So we just gotta make sure that Nico is not sitting back there thinking. Josh Hopper is not sitting on the other side of the field just drawing up plays. Say, okay, Alabama gonna give me single high. We're gonna take a shot such and such down the field on this guy. I'm gonna take a shot on this guy. Man, it's just put too high safety and just bring the heat and then let Nico figure it out. If he figure it out on his own and he can beat you with the pressure, you take it. You take it because I don't think he can beat you with pressure right now. Florida's put a lot of pressure on the kid, and the kid struggled on the pressure. They ain't no score when Florida bagged up out the pressure. But long as he was under pressure, he was running and scrambling in the pocket, not being effective. The run game was pretty much dead. So we just got to do the same thing Florida did. We just got to put that pressure on the young kid, make that kid react, make Tennessee coaches down think about it. Because every time you put somebody on the heavy pressure, even in the NFL, pressure bust pipe in the NFL. You can put most quarterbacks under pressure, they gonna struggle. I done seen Patrick Mahomes struggle under pressure. So pressure is key in any way, shape, form, or fashion. We just gotta get pressure pressure, and we got to keep pressure all night. We got all this damn star talent. You got stars everywhere on the football field. Well, just use them. All these stars on defense. Use all these stars to create the pressure. Let Keon Keeley get in there. He don't know much out here, but hell, I guess I bet you he know enough to put pressure on the quarterback. Just turn them loose. Turn all these stars loose. Let's get back to playing old school pressure, that Pittsburgh Steelers type defense, and then I let our offense eat. Because as long as our defense making stops, our offense gonna score some points. I don't care who you put in front of the offense, but Caleb DeBoer calling the show, we gonna score points. We just gotta be able to get to the point where we stop people from scoring so many points that we have to outscore the defense. We don't need to be outscoring the defense. Our defense giving up 45, we got to score 46. We don't need to be outscoring the defense. We just need to be outscoring the next opponent. We can put up 35, 40 points a game easily. We just got to get our defense to get it down to 15, 20 points a game. I'll be happy with 20 points a game as the SEC defense because this year, I think with the addition with Texas and Oklahoma, everybody taking that personal. Like all these schools seem to be taking that addition of Texas, Oklahoma personal because they bringing in more competition. Like they didn't have enough already. And everybody playing their asses all this year, and I like it. I really do like it. And more teams get a chance to make it to the playoffs, and everybody fighting for those playoff spots. So man, we just gotta just lock in. It's not a negative thing about Alabama, not about the coaches. We just gotta lock in. We just gotta bring the pressure, and then we just gotta pick up the pressures on defense because Tennessee gonna blitz. Because they're gonna try to stop the run. So they're gonna send all the pressure they can to stop the run. And in the midst of stopping the run, they're gonna get the quarterback.
Well, I'll give y'all something to be happy about as we close out. Kalen DeBoer is 13-2 straight up against ranked opponents. I like it.
Stopping the run on first down would be stopping Tennessee's run on first down would be important as well. Having those passing packages those pass rushing packages on first down, stopping Tennessee run on the first down and putting them in long third downs will be very, very important, especially with the type of offense that they run.
Yep. Got to get them off the field.
Yes, sir.
We got to be able to score in the manner we know we can. Jay Bake saying,
and we
God
got to
bless.
be able to tackle.
Yep.
Facts. Oh my God, facts. We ain't talked about that. Facts.
Yeah,
That's
definitely got to tackle.
Got to tackle, man.
Jay Bake saying, God bless these people of Waynesville, North Carolina and surrounding areas. Y'all be sure to keep these folks in your thoughts and prayers. Absolutely. Lord works in crazy ways. Campers became useful. All the best, fellas. Yeah, that's awful what happened over there. I mean, just terrible. Shout out Jay Bake. Thank you for continuing the attention on that because that is a terrible thing that happened over there. And I just don't even know, like, that's not a project that gets fixed overnight. So that's something that we need our continued thoughts, continued prayers, continued support for. But gentlemen, I've got to head over to Bleacher Report, get my sound check going for the 11 o'clock show. Coach Sean, Coach Carl, let's start with Coach Carl. Where can the people find all of your great content?
Right now, you can just hit me up on Twitter at Coach KD Taylor. I'm in the middle of my season trying to make the push for playoff. We got homecoming tonight, so I'm still in the midst of doing that. I did take a few videos while I was up there at A&M that I'll go post on YouTube, the channel. And the channel is On the Block Sport Talk with Coach Carl. I'm going to post a few videos from the step show, from the concert that I went to, the blues concert. So that'll be something I put up on YouTube today. But other than that, man, you can just find me on one of y'all platforms because I'm not doing any live shows right now because we're in the thick of the season in high school football. But football season over, I'll start getting back more content. Appreciate y'all for always inviting me. Give me an opportunity to say my piece, share my opinion.
Of course, Coach Carl, always a pleasure having you on here, and I definitely consider myself lucky to get to have you a part of these streams. Coach Sean.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is Coach Sean. You can definitely tap in with me at JMHO Sports Talk. JMHO, just my humble opinion. Sports Talk on Twitter and YouTube. Shout out to my brother, Coach Al. Shout out to High Power TV and shout out to my sister Janet and everybody in the chat. Much love to Ty for always putting this together. All my brothers on panel, Coach Carl always do an outstanding job. Coach Al, these guys are great. Tap in with their channels, please, man. And much love to everybody for tapping in with us and giving us your time. Roll Tide to you all.
Absolutely, Coach. You stole it from me. The two most important things you have in your life is time and health, and you're giving us your time on this Friday morning. And I will never be able to tell you just how much that means to me. Hope you all enjoy your weekend. We will see you Monday. Coach Sean will probably see you in the post-game show. I might
tonight. And tonight. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Tonight. We're gonna do a live tonight just to talk about Tennessee and talk about putting belts to their asses and things. I'll post it on Twitter what time, and if you guys have an opportunity, I probably won't be on long. I know Coach Carl gonna be busy. Ty probably gonna be busy. I'm probably gonna go on for a little while and put some belts to asses. If Coach Carl, if Coach Al, you want to hop on, let me know. Anybody want to hop on? It don't even matter who he is. Email me. I see the link. We'll get on there and talk.
Love it.
What time you going on, Coach Sean?
I'll do about 6 or 7, probably about 7. About 7. You know what I'm saying?
If you do it at 7, that'd be kickoff. So I probably won't be on by then. Because we usually go. We're trying to get the ball first and score first. So
facts.
If you do it at 7, it'll be in the thick of my first quarter.
Okay, that's if any fans want to hop on, any of the fans from this chat want to hop on, hit me on Twitter in the inbox. I send you the link. We're gonna talk Tennessee tonight. And Coach Carl, I probably if you need to be earlier, I might even do it earlier. I'll put it on Twitter for everybody.
Okay, bet.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, always a great time. Thank you so much. And now for the fourth member of the panel, the spinning wheel of doom. And it spins.